Good evening, Nigeria, and we are bringing you breaking developments from Kaduna State, where bandits have introduced what can only be described as an outrageous new dimension to their criminal enterprise. Before even beginning negotiations for the release of 166 Christian worshippers who were abducted during church service, these criminals are now demanding 28.9 million naira as compensation for motorcycles they claim were lost during security operations in the area. This is not a ransom for the victims, mind you, but rather payment for their own property before they will even sit down to discuss the release of innocent people who were simply worshipping in their church. The abduction itself occurred in what has become an all-too-familiar pattern of violence in communities across Kaduna State. These 166 worshippers were gathered in their place of worship, seeking spiritual solace and community fellowship, when armed bandits descended upon them and forcibly took them away from their families and loved ones. The trauma experienced by these victims and their families cannot be overstated, as days have turned into what must feel like an eternity for those waiting desperately for news of their release. What makes this particular situation exceptionally disturbing is the calculated nature of the bandits' demands. They are essentially holding these negotiations hostage within a hostage situation. The families of the abducted worshippers, already devastated by the kidnapping of their loved ones, now face the additional psychological torture of knowing that discussions about their release cannot even commence until this separate payment is made. The bandits are treating this entire ordeal as a business transaction with multiple revenue streams, showing absolutely no regard for human life or dignity. According to sources familiar with the situation, the motorcycles in question were allegedly destroyed or confiscated during military and security operations aimed at combating banditry in the region. The criminals are now demanding compensation from the community or the families of the victims for what they consider their business assets. These motorcycles are typically used by bandits to navigate the difficult terrain of forests and rural areas, facilitating their attacks on communities and their escape from security forces. The audacity of demanding payment for tools used in criminal activity while holding innocent civilians captive demonstrates the brazen confidence with which these criminal groups now operate. Security experts and community leaders have expressed outrage at this development, with many calling it an unprecedented level of impunity. The fact that bandits feel comfortable making such demands suggests they believe they have significant leverage and that authorities or communities will eventually capitulate to their terms. This situation raises serious questions about the effectiveness of current security strategies and the message being sent when criminal elements can make such brazen demands without immediate consequences. The victims themselves represent a cross-section of the Christian community in the area, including men, women, and likely children who were simply exercising their constitutional right to worship freely. Their families have been thrust into an impossible situation where they must now consider paying money not for their loved ones' freedom, but merely for the privilege of beginning negotiations about their freedom. If you are watching this video and finding this information valuable, please do take a moment to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you never miss important updates on stories affecting our nation. The Kaduna State government and security agencies have yet to make detailed public statements about this specific demand regarding the motorcycles, though officials have generally maintained that they do not negotiate with terrorists and bandits. However, the reality on the ground often differs from official policy, as desperate families frequently pool resources to meet ransom demands when they feel abandoned by the system that should protect them. This creates a vicious cycle where successful ransom payments embolden criminals to carry out more attacks, knowing that financial rewards await them. This incident is part of a larger pattern of insecurity that has plagued Kaduna State and other parts of northwestern Nigeria for years now. Communities have been subjected to repeated attacks, kidnappings, killings, and displacement, with bandits operating with what appears to be relative freedom in certain areas. The economic impact has been devastating, with farmers unable to access their farmlands, students afraid to attend school, and entire communities living in constant fear. The psychological toll on residents cannot be measured in monetary terms, as the constant threat of violence has fundamentally altered daily life. What we are witnessing is not just a security challenge, but a humanitarian crisis that demands urgent and comprehensive action. The international community, faith-based organizations, and human rights groups need to increase pressure on authorities to find lasting solutions to this crisis. These are not just statistics or news headlines, but real people with families, dreams, and aspirations who deserve to live in peace and security in their own country. The question many Nigerians are asking is how long this situation will continue before decisive action is taken to dismantle these criminal networks completely. While military operations have had some success, the persistence and boldness of these attacks suggest that current strategies need serious re-evaluation. There must be a combination of kinetic military action, improved intelligence gathering, community engagement, and addressing the underlying socio-economic factors that allow banditry to thrive. For now, 166 families wait in agony, hoping and praying for the safe return of their loved ones, while grappling with the reality that even beginning negotiations requires meeting outrageous demands from criminals. This is the harsh reality facing many communities in northern Nigeria today, and it is a situation that should concern every Nigerian, regardless of region, religion, or ethnicity, because an attack on any community is an attack on our collective humanity and national dignity.